Merry Christmas to everyone at the Yuletide Hall and having an eggnog and probably a little bit of the bubbly or just anything really for Christmas this year. Been a rough year for a lot of people, especially since we're still in the bloody freaking pandemic and Omicron is currently destroying the world. But we're here on WrestleVerse channel to talk about my most complicated relationship in the history of professional wrestling, WWE. Yeah, I haven't talked about WWE in a while, and quite frankly, understandably so. Why? Because I have basically cut WWE from my life, other than hearing what's been talked about, what's going on over there, because I don't watch it. I haven't watched it in a while, long while, because I just decided, like, I could do the whole YouTube's my job thing, and fine, if they want to watch it, they can, and talk about it. That's their prerogative. But for me, when it comes to YouTube, I only hope to make a supplement income out of this when I do YouTube videos, instead of making this a job. So, whereas I understand their perspective of I have to watch it, it's my job, I just want to talk about stuff, and nowadays I don't really watch WWE. I pretty much cut all ties with it. I even let my Peacock subscriptions expire. Yeah, I let my Peacock subscription expire. I haven't been using it. I don't even use it for WWE anymore. I've just lost complete interest, and really the whole Roman is the reason I should watch it is not becoming a reason anymore. It's more like I have to put myself through horrible content most of the time just to see the good stuff, which isn't worth it, because I would rather have a good show with only a few duds than a bad show with one good thing. So I said, I'm not going to torture myself. I'm just going to watch what I want to watch, and if they do something good, I'll just watch a separate segment of it and see the cut version of it. Like I do with AEW at this point. I watch AEW in full a lot, and I talk about that more on my channel as opposed to this. But yeah, Survivor Series, the show that told me I shouldn't care for it because they didn't care for it outside of anything that involved Roman, even though it was The Rock's 25th anniversary debut. Yeah. And when you announce the matches on Twitter, you really don't want to care about this stuff. Big E and Roman Reigns specifically was the only match you should really care for. I'm like, maybe Becky Lynch and Charlotte, just out of morbid curiosity of how that was going to go down, considering all the stuff that came out about that, especially that very awkward, very horrible title exchange. You know the one I'm talking about. I mean, it's just... Yeah, I talked about that. I'm still like, oh my god, how did you get away with this? Like, you can't have expected this to go right, considering what you initially planned to do to it. But enough about that. WWE had their main event, which should not have been the main event for the very big reason that it's The Rock's anniversary and everyone was expecting him to show up, especially since reports did come out prior that Rock was going to plan to show up because, you know, he has a commitment plan because, you know, this is the anniversary debut and they themed the whole show around The Rock. It'd be stupid not to know that The Rock wasn't going to show up but still do it anyways because they hate you. But yeah, in a show that had an egg that was probably worth $5, even though they're trying to say it's worth more than that, and then it gets stolen, I don't care about that, and especially when they make it about the WWE title, that makes me care about even less. Then you decided to say, okay, before we do any of that, we're gonna have Roman Reigns versus Big E for the main event to determine who is the champion of champions. Oh, I say! And yeah, hard-hitting, power explosive matchup. That's what this match is. A hard-hitting, powerhouse explosive dynamic matchup you got with this. Big E proving himself to be a make star, like this is the guy you should go for. Roman being the desperation man who's trying to maintain his status and power, especially when you think about this feud and be like, man, this would have been a great WrestleMania main event, especially if Big E beat him, because that is honestly the biggest problem with this match. This is a WrestleMania match. And it definitely should have been Big E's crowning moment where he beats Roman Reigns for the title. Yeah, you see the problem here? Like, I really don't know why they still do this. They want to theme Survivor Series, but I'm thinking, why not just have big stakes involved? Like, you know, the Authority and Team Cena. Like, it probably worked once, 2016, but then it stopped working, like, a lot. But, yeah, this is the match that you think, this would have been the best one of the best WrestleMania main events you could use to solidify a new star by having him beat Roman. But now you're in that position where it's like, he's the WWE Champion, we don't have an endgame plan now, and now Roman's still Universal Champion, we still don't have an endgame plan for him because we've made him too big. And that is definitely Roman's problem with this. He's become too big to the point that's like, who can you see realistically catch up to that kind of momentum and beat him? Big E was probably the only option they had, and they gave it, and they moved him to Raw to avoid that because, well, they could have not done it for WrestleMania. And especially how they built this match up, because this should have been a lot more than Roman beats up the New Day a lot, other than him beating up besides without Big E, because I was now thinking, oh, I want to see Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods fight Roman, because that sounds a lot more interesting than having them be beaten down every single second and have Big E come in and save the day at the last minute. Yeah, this has been one of the problems with this thing. Like, I like Roman, I like the Tribal Chief stuff. I feel like this is his best work yet. But you've made him so big and so powerful, it's like, what happens after? That's been the most consistent question people have been asking lately from WWE fans. What do you do with Roman when he has to drop that title? Because someone did propose on Twitter yesterday on Christmas Eve that, oh, how about Roman just willingly relinquishes it? Then why should I care about the Universal title? You see, this is the problem. That idea does not work unless Roman gets injured or has other problems going on with him. If you have Roman drop that title without anyone beating him, why should I care about whoever wields that title? This would be like if you had Okada have the title for 2 years, then instead of dropping it to Omega, he just gives it up because, I don't need it anymore. So why should I care about the title? I would say this even more if it was the WWE title. At least the Universal title has the excuse of not being the World Heavyweight belt, because that would have been really pissing people off. Heck, I'm pretty sure Ric Flair would have been pissed off, and considering how Ric Flair's been blacklisted at this point by people, I don't think it would matter in the grand scheme of things, but considering that title's prestige, lineage, and history, it would have pissed a lot of people off. But yeah, this is honestly the problem with this booking, because it's like, do you put Big E over because he's the newest champ of WWE, or do you put Roman over just to keep him more powerful than ever? And Roman defeats Big E after explosive finishers, and Big E even does, and then Roman even catches Big E with a rock bottom, and you're just excited that, oh, The Rock's gonna show, and he doesn't show because he's off doing a movie, and they knew about this for 2 freaking months. Yeah, that's another problem I'm gonna bring up. So, yeah, Roman is now won again at Survivor Series, and you're just left wondering where this is go next. And then you realize that you're not getting the big surprise that you were promised, the guest of honor moment. It's a party without the guest of honor who's being celebrated for, which makes the party very awkward. Because they knew for 2 months, reportedly, they knew since September he wasn't going to show because he would be off filming in another country. I think it's Black Adam, I could be wrong. But yeah, he was off filming somewhere, and he wouldn't be back in time. especially since he would have to quarantine for 2 weeks since he was in a foreign country. So it's this dilemma that's like, well, we have a huge sponsor with Red Notice, we could just do the egg thing, but we themed the rest of the Survivor Series around The Rock, which doesn't help much, because now it's like, oh dear, we have nothing. Because that's what people were really looking for Survivor Series. They were all under the impression The Rock was going to show, especially when WWE themed it around him, which is borderline advertising him, which never happens though. But you had that expectation that Rock was going to show up, confront Roman, then we get to start to build little by little Roman Reigns versus The Rock out of WrestleMania in the near future. Never happens, and we're left like, we're left with this. That's all we're left with. We're left with good match. Is that it? And the fact they knew this in advance already makes this problem worse, because they could have changed the show around a bit, like a lot, and not theme around The Rock. Like, you could still do the sponsorship or Red Notice since you kind of had a commitment with that, but you could have just done the egg stuff and moved on, and we could have just forgotten about this show. Or, heck, I'm surprised they didn't think of doing an egg-themed segment where they go ahead and having an big egg pop open, like they did back in the golden age of wrestling of WWF. But yeah, that was honestly the biggest thing. Like, yeah. Like, I watched this match when I had the chance to, when I finally felt motivated enough to care. But this match was just the big explosive finisher that we wanted. But the ending was what everyone wanted out of it. And even WWE's own inner circle were like telling Vince, dude, you can't have this be the main event, because then people will really expect The Rock. They want the guest of honor at our party, and he's not going to be there. We can't do that. Yeah, there were reports coming out that they knew, yeah, this is going to be a stupid idea. Have Roman and Big E end the show with the expectation everyone's going to think The Rock's going to show, and everyone's going to be left disappointed, and then we're going to be wondering what the hell's going on when the alternative could have just been having Roman and Big E open the show, and then you could close it out with the controversial Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, if for no other reason than you can recreate Montreal with it. Because that was the vibe a lot of people had worry heading into the show, because of Charlotte and Becky's little debacle issues that WWE was trying to exploit, which honestly I'm glad did not devolve into complete chaos, but it still ended up being awkward. So really you were going to have an awkward ending either way if you went with either main event. So yeah. But Big E showed he was a big star in this match, really did, and like I said, this is now a situation that he finds themselves in with Roman, because now it's like, well, who do we put over for the future? Big E fought Roman, lost, and he's the current WWE Champion. We got no one else built up, and anyone we could have had built up are all gone. Rex Steiner probably won't be ready till 2022. Late, maybe 2023 at best, but can we really push that far with Roman at this point with the amount of talent gone? We could have had Keith Lee. Oh, he's gone. We could have had Cross. He's gone. We could have done Wyatt versus Reigns to build stuff up. He's gone too. So now we're just like in this struggle where I don't know where the end game's going to be for Roman. And if they do an end game, it's probably not going to be what everyone had hoped. And if they do the relinquish route and he doesn't never put anyone over, then it's like, well, then why should we have cared? Why should we care about that belt? You might as well just throw it in the trash can afterwards if you did that. And now Roman is split from Paul Heyman, and Brock Lesnar didn't even show. I thought for sure they would try to at least have the whole, you could still theme around The Rock, but have Brock Lesnar come out and have Brock Lesnar cut a promo on The Rock and Roman about how Brock sent Rock to Hollywood, and he's going to send Roman to Hollywood. You could have done that. That would at least make sense. They did do that. But no, that's not going to be built up as a plot point for their eventual clash at day one, which I don't know. New Year's Revolution was just too much violence for you to put as the name? I don't know. But yeah, it's been this perpetuating issue I have with the Roman booking, because now it's like, who's gonna Roman put over big time? Who's built up enough to be a viable option to beat Roman and become the face of the company for the next 10 years? You had a chance with Big E, you gave him the WWE title, and you had the match, so now it's not gonna be as wonder or spectacle unless it's WrestleMania now or SummerSlam. So it's like, who's left? That's the big question. Who is left for Roman? Kofi had his run. Woods, he's content being the gamer guy, even on G4. Shout out, he's fun. Yeah, I don't know where you could go with this guy. I really don't. I don't know where else you could take Roman in terms of the multi-angle feud with Brock. And Drew McIntyre already had his moment in the sun, so... And plus, he's fought Roman so many times, we're just no longer interested at this point. So... yeah, we're kind of in this no-win situation, I feel. But yeah... if you were to just look at this from, like, you just want to watch this match, you don't care about the long term or short term, fine. It's a pretty damn good match. You can watch it. You can watch the explosive dynamic they have and the insane chemistry they share. But when you think about this, but when you're in the WWE long term plan, it's like, yeah. Especially since Roman fired Paul Heyman, that doesn't help much. I love Roman and Paul Heyman together, especially when Roman said, I don't want to do this if I'm not going to work with Paul Heyman now. That interview kind of probably spoils day one for people, so there. But yeah, Big E versus Roman Reigns. I know this wasn't much talking about the match. It's your typical big match WWE fight. With some good moments in it, especially Big E getting up rather quickly. Oh man, that was the highlight, honestly. And you did think for a moment, will Big E actually go over? But no, they go the safe route. Especially I was like, and especially since it was clean. Why was it clean? At least Drew McIntyre got low blowed by and super kicked by Jey Uso. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. We'll have to see what goes down on the road and see where both title reigns go, especially since Big E's heading into day one, defending it against 3 other competitors, and has lost repeatedly to the point that I'm starting to think this is Rey Mysterio's booking from 2006 when he was the world champion, because that's the vibe I'm getting from this. And Roman is currently on his dominant streak, with now split from Paul Heyman, and yeah, and his multi-feud with Brock Lesnar that, okay, despite the roles now reversed, I still don't have much interest in it. They've run it into the ground. But yeah, this was Neo Reality Entertainment, the WrestleVerse. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all next time. Peace and take care, and have a good day, everybody, and have a happy Christmas.